All right, here we go. Show number 53 of Into the Cubieverse, and we are live.
Hi, welcome to Into the Cubieverse. We are talking about Cubieverse, the game by Titanium Toaster. It's a game where you go and answer trivia questions, open vaults, and play to get rewards. So I'm filling in that part of the show for Magic Dragon, who is not well tonight. But here we are, and we're here to talk about Chinese New Year wrap up as well as the Superbowl event. Not Magic Dragon, Atrocities. How was your week in the Cubieverse?
A great introduction there, Gold Miner.
How were your last 2 weeks in the Cubieverse?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to wish Magic Dragon. Hopefully, gets over it and is back on feeling good enough for next week's show. Gonna miss him because he's always a big part of it. Yeah, so last 2 weeks in the Cubieverse, I think it's been cold, right? So have not been getting a lot of walking steps, kind of getting the minimum, which is unfortunate. So the key totals is not recovering the way it normally does after a big event. Had some good buddy quests. I think actually I had the last one. I think was with Wayfair 73, which I believe I added as a buddy, and I got a buddy quest from him with him like within a week or so, which I guess means that I am low on my buddies totals, and I need to get some more. So hey, if you're watching and you need buddy quests and want to do them quick, add me out there. So would appreciate that. All friend requests accepted on that front. So otherwise, yeah, we doing kind of like making sure we're getting the trade shacks. I think I hit I had hit one good trade shack this week. I think I got Ethereum on happy hour, so I got 1,000 Ethereum out of that. So I was really pumped on that front. So that was great. How about you, Gold Miner? How was your last fortnight in the Cubieverse?
Well, I think if we're talking trade checks, I think that same night we were out collecting trade checks, I believe, didn't I get the corrupted ooze?
You got 1,000
on the trade
ooze?
check.
Yes, you did.
And then I've gotten a few decent drops in off of trade checks. Not a ton, but I think I think between us, I think we're hitting about, once we hit around 9 to 10 trade shacks, maybe a couple more during the happy hour times. I think we get one each usually, so that's decent. Also had a buddy quest earlier on in the week, also very easy to do, very simple. Person was great. Other than that, if we're talking, I guess we'll talk about the Chinese New Year's event later on, but yeah, it's been, as you said, it's been cold and a lot of snow here, and so between shoveling snow and the coldness, we're not really out so much walking, and my phone recently switched over to iOS. Doesn't seem to get steps inside, so, or at least a quarter of steps that you get when we're inside. Definitely. So it kind of feels frustrating to
Mall walking is out, right?
So, but yeah, looking forward to spring, and hopefully the spring will come soon.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. So CC Johns, who just asked who's loving the snow we got this week, I think you got our answer, which is not us. So
where's CC Johns from? Obviously somewhere on the East Coast, Toronto.
Don't know. Or I don't. If I did know, I don't remember. Yeah. So actually, I'm gonna throw a poll in here into the chat in a second here on figure out how many people actually ended up getting the epic blueprint from the Chinese New Year event. Last show, we both had the Chinese New Year, which was Epic Blueprint, which was great. I think I got mine on 76 Vault Trade Shacks, and you were at, what were you at, Gold Miner? It was like
101.
101. 101. And I know Magic Dragon eventually got his much later in the week. I think it was on his 75th vault he did. So obviously we were doing more vaults per day, so we got ours sooner. But he actually got his luckier. And then I think didn't bunch of O'Brien's got hers around 100 as well. So okay, he was saying so. That was good for us. I'm glad he got it. Hopefully, most of our viewers ended up with it around that 100. But it seems like, a lot of people were getting them out in that range. So, the 5% drop rate, I still think is that was stated. I think it's probably 0.5% drop rate or so, for sure. Actually, you were telling me a story there, Gold Miner, about somebody who put a comment in Discord about when they finally got their epic to drop.
Yeah, I think that was Little Laquito, if I'm saying that correctly, was saying that he was driving like multiple hours a day. It was a post in Discord, and finally got it towards the end. But it sounded like he was doing 3, 4, 5 hours a day of driving to hit all these trade shacks in nearby cities and towns. So that would suck, because I know that's what we were like with the Nutcracker, and that was very frustrating. Back to that damn Nutcracker. But yeah, like at least we had a lot more trade checks around here now. Not that they had the trade checks then, but yeah, that just made it a lot less stressful. But I must say, I was harping on you to let's go out to where Magic Dragon lives, to their 6, which would be about a 40-minute drive each way. So I was having memories of that Nutcracker event and Christmas event, thinking that we would have to drive all over the place to get the proper amount of trade checks before I got it. But you kept calming me down, and finally I got it here in the city. So
yeah, only one long trip out to get it. So for sure. Speaking of last year, Lionheart, do we know if he ended up getting the blueprint or not? Did you hear?
I know he had said at one point on Discord, I think he hadn't gotten it, but I don't know if he ended up not getting it or getting it or not. Hoth wants to know what snow is. Is my memory good or bad with Hoth from the Florida area? If he is from the Florida area, he should be quite well acquainted with snow this year.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think of Hoth, I think of I equate him with the Ice Planet from Star Wars. So so I would assume he knows what snow is. But if he doesn't, well, hey, good for him. So
come on down to Canada, right? or Eastern Canada.
Right. So going along, then I'm going to comment here that said that we got it. We got the epic printed, and then it came to the choice of, do you want to put your red key in and get the tickler box? And we were looking at what people were posting that they got in their tickler boxes that on Discord. I don't know how many people were, and I know Gold Miner, you were showing me a bunch. So what did you end up deciding to do?
I ended up not getting the tickler box. I did not get the only thing I was really that really was making me lean towards getting that tickler box was that headquarters skin, which I did pick up in the auction house. Somebody had it buy it now for I think 50 or 55, and I bought that. Now if I'd waited, I probably could have gotten a better deal. That said, I don't object to paying that, and I've got it, and yeah, so I'm just as pleased to have done it that way and save my red key, because I don't feel that those tickler boxes, I can get most of that stuff, not like the cricket bats and but what do I need that for? Out of trade checks if I want to. Like I have not all cubies, but I have a good chunk of cubies that if I wanted any of those types of resources, I could certainly throw something in the trade chat.
Certainly the common ones, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think you're supposed to necessarily get common resources in particular boxes, but I'm going to say seeing like resources that are showing up that we don't need or have no need for is always disappointing, for sure. Same as me. That was my same thinking. We certainly could have finished the event, but we stopped without saving the red key. That would be an interesting actual thing if Illusion Weaver, even if he doesn't want to publish that number, he should definitely take a look at the number of people that stopped at the red key and didn't get the tickler boxes that could have put the red key in, right? Because I bet you there's probably getting more people like that. Because you're right. Because at the end of the day, it was the headquarters, which was the big draw from my perspective. But we thought we'd try and get the auction house. I know you were successful to get one. I did not get one yet. I know I was close. I was bidding on one, and it was only around 15,000 or so. And then I bid, went back to looked. About 20 minutes later, someone had outbid me and it had closed. So they must have immediately outbid me, and the thing closed, and it went for 15,000, which was a steal, right? So for sure.
Well, and honestly, quite frankly, fast forward a week, Super Bowl happened. I picked the Chiefs. I got one box. You picked the Eagles. You got 5 boxes, and that was probably for a free event, just the same as a tickler box. Yeah. In essence, right?
Well, yeah, I was going to cover that when we moved on to the Super Bowl, but since you want to bring it up now, what did I get? Because you're absolutely right. When I waited, and the results of the Super Bowl event were quite excellent for me. And where is it to tell you what I got? So, all right, I took a video of it, and I got koa wood, which I can't really use, but other than that, I got lumps of coal, air crystals, water crystals, and sepia. I don't know what sepia is. I can't use sepia, but I was happy with the lumps of coal, the air crystals, and the water crystals for sure. And that's probably better than a lot of tickler boxes that were out there. So, and all I had to do is gamble on the Eagles, which is why we've got as a thumbnail for tonight's show, I got the green Cubie. So.
I must say, I'm looking at your poll that you put up about did you get the Epic Dragon? 43 to 57. 43% got it. 57 didn't. I'm kind of surprised at that number because it seemed like it was sounding on Discord that most people seem to have gotten it. So I'm kind of surprised that number is not even 50-50 at least. But
well, the survey's still young yet, and we'll see what it comes back to at the end of the show. Yeah, I was getting the impression that as people were getting closer to 100 trade shacks or so by the end of the week, a lot of people seemed like they were starting to get it. Obviously, people that got it early were a lot less stressful. Last year, when we got it early, that was a hell of a lot better, for sure. And Bobby Joe, I don't believe there's a wrap-up article out yet. I don't think I've seen one. I haven't seen any stats on that, but it would be.
The only stats we saw was on Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, we saw.
I agree that we have not seen one.
We got the Christmas stats coming out and on the Christmas one, once again the Starlight Cubie was even more hard. It was what ends up being, despite being common, it's the hardest to get one out there, right? So, which actually gives it, it's kind of interesting because that gives the common some value too. So, but, once going back to Chinese New Year proper, I thought that this time around, the resources that they were giving you were generally pretty good. You didn't have the problem where we've had last couple of events where you're getting all this straw, which has no value to it because there's all this straw out there.
Yeah, I think you and I both were commenting, oh, they've got to be boosting up the amount that they're giving out soon. And that never happened.
No, they didn't. And which is also unusual because I think and maybe they've moved away from that where they're starting off at some of these higher numbers, which is kind of I kind of look forward to the end of it getting a boosted payout, but at the same time, I kind of like the idea of having a consistent payout. That way, if you go hard at the beginning or you go hard at the end, you're not advantaged one way or the other, right? The time you put into the event at the beginning and the end is worth the same amount. But I continued to be happy with getting, the resources for the most part. I think some red ribbon at the end, I was kind of like, I prefer some of this other stuff. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm not getting, all these other resources at the expense of it, right? Like the resources coming out of the trade shacks were great. The resources out of the blues were great, which is obviously your limiting factors. The commons, you can have like red ribbons coming in commons because you've got so many commons and stuff out there. So I think from a event design perspective, like great job, Illusion Weaver, on this one. And hopefully they take that sort of into account going forward, right? So.
Well, also maybe, like I know Bobby Joe mentioned, plus they did the reset every day of the trade shacks, that they didn't maybe increase because of those trade shacks. That said, if the blueprints weren't dropping so easily, maybe, and I know he said this was supposed to be one of the harder events, but maybe halfway through the event, the resets on those trade shacks should have gone both morning and night, like reset.
So are you thinking because like to give people more odds of getting payouts? Because I thought
not payouts, but of the actual blueprint.
Sorry, the blueprint. Yeah, I meant the blueprint payout. I thought one of the things they went away from, because they used to do that, was it only resets once a day. It's a lot less effort that people need to participate in the event, right?
And I agree, it is a lot of work to be running around twice a day, especially when, like, our city, there seems to be a lot. Like, we have 23 trade shacks.
Yep.
But can span from one side of the city to the next, so it does take an hour, close to an hour to get all of them in our city. Plus, if you want to get Magic Dragons and a bunch of O'Briens, that's another 40 minutes on top.
Yeah, for 6 more. Which, thankfully there's 6, so it makes it worthwhile. And
it certainly does.
And I know at points in the past, we've double dipped by getting up at, 6 o'clock in the morning or driving out there for like a 7 a.m. reset where you can get them both. Thankfully, you didn't have to do it this time. But to your point, I would suggest rather than increasing the number of spawns, maybe there's they build in some sort of mercy system whereby if the odds are, say the odds are supposedly 5%, which means that you should get one in, what is that? 5%, 20. So after 20 on average, you should get them. Then, like, if once you get 20 trade shacks in this scenario, if you haven't got the blueprint dropping, maybe they should increase your odds of success by 1% for every trade shack fail after that, right? So by the time, in this case, you double it to 40 trade shacks, you're at, if it was a 5% base, you're now at a 25% chance of success, right? So that you build in some sort of mercy system into, your pull drops, which would be great because that would reduce a lot of stress and frustration and whatnot. But at the same time, I know this is supposed to be a harder event. Not everybody's necessarily supposed to get the epics, which makes them rare when you do get them. However, if you are putting in the time and effort to go and get 100 trade shacks or whatever it happens to be, you should be rewarded, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I would tend to agree. And honestly, this, as he said, it's one of the harder events, and it certainly is. I could not imagine not having the amount of trade checks we have, because that would be, I know I keep bringing it up, but it would be the whole Nutcracker event all over again. And that would, like, it's stressful enough when you're like, okay, well, figure this amount of trade checks times how many days the event's running for, I should be getting it. But, you know, until you get it, you're still stressing out. But if you were in an area or a rural area where you only have a small amount of trade shacks, like your own 3 or whatnot, I would be a big stress ball on that, personally.
Sure. But likewise, mind you, we say we got 23 in our area, which is great, but that's like 8 players, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were like the game and whatnot, if you went out and started actively recruiting, you know, players in your neighbor area, like, now, are you going to get 8 full players by yourself? It might take some time, but you could definitely start recruiting 2 or 3 other players, and they could recruit some other people, and you could quite quickly build up to a decent quantity that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because could you imagine if we had like 100 active players in the area, 300 trade shacks, and like I can't see in my opinion 100 isn't like an unachievable number, right? So
somebody on Discord was also saying, or I think there's a few people on Discord saying, oh, I got my wife out to do this, or my husband out to go hunting for the event, and then boom, they got the epic blueprint immediately, versus they, who are the steady player in the game, took forever to get or didn't even get it. And I find that kind of funny. Like, I know Magic Dragon said his daughter reinstalled the game and got it on her first trade shack. Like, what gives with that? Like, what makes the people not play so much, who play for events only? What makes them get it so quickly? Like, what are the odds? Like,
it must be some sort of reverse mercy system whereby your mercy builds up by not playing or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I know that is funny how definitely I've heard of several players that are, let's say, new to the game or not super active or just play events, are ones that pop resources like right away. So, or trade checks right away. So, don't know.
I know other than Magic Dragon's daughter here in our area, I know. There's a few we don't know who they are, but the ones we know, like RX Wings, Genmo, Stale, obviously Magic Dragon, and bunch of O'Briens. I think we were all quite delayed on getting ours.
Yes. Yep. For sure.
And we're all regular players. So.
Yeah. No, I do think there should be a better, not necessarily a better way, but.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. RX Wings got hers on, what, the 4th one?
I think she said 3rd, but yeah.
No, other than that, all the rest of us either got it really late or didn't get it at all. So.
Yeah, and I know, once again, going hard and not getting it's got to be frustrating. Fortunately, it hasn't happened to me, but I know the Nutcracker, right? Definitely frustrating to you. So.
It also means your time is coming. It can't just be a bunch of O'Briens and me that have this problem.
True. We'll see what happens.
And Lionheart had the problem.
Yes,
not getting specific ones, and But anyways, off of that topic. One day you won't
Yeah.
get one.
Anyways, Chinese New Year, I thought, the event went off without a hitch. I wasn't aware of any glitches in it, which is good. So great job, Titanium Toaster. I think this is the first one in a while. There hasn't been even a minor glitch in it. So they're, quality control and everything else is going great on that front.
And this one was actually more fun than the rest that we've done lately because it was actually more of a chore to do, and more of a hunt, and that was fine. I was happy with that. Because some of them where they're just like, oh, it's just too easy. Let's not bother because we have a lot of this resource, or like the Farmer Hank one. It's like,
Farmer Hank drops. We got all the hay already.
Or straw,
right?
Or carrots.
Yes. So.
So.
And you know what? I understand why they want new players to be able to get in and do stuff and achieve, and that's great. But I'm gonna say keep the straw / hay to Farmer Hank going forward as a resource. So, but I think hopefully they've learned and putting stuff in place. I'm not sure when the next event is, if they've got anything on. I know that they talked about the city event, but that's been pushed off for a while. And I think they talked about even not necessarily doing a city event for even longer because they want to focus on more events like this for everybody. Because that was one of the things they did talk about they were rolling out was a way to be able to push 2 events a month or so. If
I thought I read somewhere as well that there's supposed to be another coin quest in March, maybe?
Oh,
March or April. So I don't know if you've looked at your Phantom account lately. Don't.
I have not. Got to find it away because I know we tried to sell the stuff at one point and it said we needed
when it was high.
we needed stuff in the account to make that happen, but other than the currency we were selling, so that was kind of disappointing.
It's worth $1 each now.
All right, great. But hey, you know what? Elon Musk just has to go out and mention that crypto coin, that one of these coins, and he just needs to mention JHH, and it'll go through the roof, just like the Doge coin, which I just want to comment on. I
thought we were get political here.
It's not political because we got the Doge coin, which is actually in the Cubieverse game. The Doge coin is in the Cubieverse game, and Elon Musk has named his department Doge as well. So DOGE, which I don't know. I think it's a shout out to crypto. So hopefully he does something to punch up some of these coins, or all coins in general even. So that's cool. Yeah. So moving along. Obviously, we weren't here last week because of the Super Bowl. Didn't want to compete with, one, the Super Bowl, and then 2, they ran a event, Titanium Cubieverse event in Discord, and then obviously they had the choice beforehand. Do you want to support the Chiefs or the Eagles? Put your QB on and win some boxes. So that was great. As I said, as we mentioned earlier, I put the green on, won 5 ticklers. What'd you get there, Gold Miner?
I got 1 box of antlers.
Oh, right, because you were the Chiefs.
I'm jealous.
Right? Right, for sure. But it's nice that they're doing stuff like that. I don't think that was superly well published, right? Like I didn't see anything in game about it.
Quite last minute.
Yeah.
Like a day or so, or 2 days before, maybe 3 days before. Likewise, there was also a loot code that was sent out after the game was finished.
Which for footballs, yes, which we got. So,
yeah.
I assume that's done now. What was that loot code?
You sent. Did you send me a picture of that?
I think, you know what? I think I took a picture, took my own picture. Um, Loot code was 2923, 500 footballs, 200 uses. If you haven't got it, maybe maybe you go give it a check or so, because you never know on some of these things. But you know, I joined in on the Discord chat on the football game. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. I was actually watching the game and doing other stuff, but then I was able to check in and see what people were doing and throw some comments in the chat and whatnot. And it was kind of fun. Gold Miner, did you see any of that chat at all, or no?
No, I was. You were out. I was home, enjoying the quietness. I kind of had the TV on in the background, but I was playing a game on my phone, which was not Discord. So no to Discord.
And it was not the Cubieverse.
No, so I was not paying attention to it because I wasn't overly paying attention to the game.
Gotcha.
So I didn't really feel like I had much to add since I wasn't really overly paying attention. I did see Mahomes fumble the ball or get not fumble.
Got sacked.
Get knocked over. Is that the right term?
Got sacked.
I'm not a football player. Or a football
Sacked
watcher.
and then
So.
fumbled, you mean?
Pardon?
He was sacked and then fumbled the ball?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know the proper terminology. I've never really watched football.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So yeah. But I think it was neat to have the little event added on. Like, you know, everything's kind of like a team building. You know, it's fun when you can play along or comment in on Discord, and you know.
For sure. No, I love the fact that they, you know, they're doing this in conjunction with these big events that are going on out there, right? So certainly, you know, the MMA fights where they do events on, you know, we're there, we're in the chat live, or we're actually watching the MMA, which is something we normally wouldn't do, and enjoying it. So great on the Cubieverse for doing this. I appreciate them doing it, and the fact that, you know, ironically, the fact that I won 5 boxes that probably ended up with much better loot than spending the green key or the red key in the Chinese New Year to get the tickler box, I think says something that they need to make some changes to the tickler boxes. You know, as I said before, ideally, you know, they should probably try and tune the resources to what your blueprints are in your account. Obviously, you need to have a certain number of certain number of blueprints or whatever for that to work properly. So if you've just, you know, if an account's only got 3 blueprints, well then add the 3 most other common blueprints or whatever, or to get them pool of 10 or something like that they can choose from. Or I think someone mentioned that you could have a tickler box and then it could open up like 10 items or something like that, and then you could pick your 10, like 5 of the 10 or something like that to better suit what you need in your account, right? Like somebody commented that the SIPA was for the Philippines Cubie. Well, I don't have a blueprint. I don't have whatever for it. I don't necessarily know if SIPA even goes for anything in the shop. So, you know, likewise, I don't have enough that I think it's worth me selling it, because that's the other thing too, is the green with the green cost of selling, of the green key cost. I need to have a certain quantity of items for sale to make it worth that green key, because what we've been doing is because we got that water fountain. Once again, if you don't have a water fountain, get yourself a water fountain. During going happy hours, hit the water fountain, and then going and doing the your green vaults in your area if you have any, and I think we've been hitting like I'm sure I hit close to no, it was you that got close to 4,000 cubic coin that one time,
Mhm.
and um, we're well over 2,000 cubic coin most likely, um, uh, during happy hour for the green key. So my opinion, a green key is worth at least 2,000 cubic coin. So
Can you fix your sound? Like you're mumbly sounding on this.
is anybody else thinking that?
It's just hard to understand what you're saying to me, at least. Um, but likewise, I also have like fish and chips, pupusa. I have turmeric, like things like that. Like I agree. Like you don't have enough to get rid of. You don't know what it's really going for because it's hardly ever in the in the auction house where it's not worth wasting that green key to put it up for sale. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, Hoff, the code I put in there was for the football from the Super Bowl event last week. So you could get 500 footballs if it's still available, but for sure.
We do not have the code this week, Hawk. So
Yes.
that is
Yeah, no
well,
loot
yeah.
code this week.
We can't promise that the 2923 is active still.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So, anyways, I guess my point is that if I can put a green key into a user vault or green user vault, and most of the time end up with over 2,000 cubic coin or close to 2,000 cubic coin, then I got to be making more than that on my sale when I put stuff up for sale in the auction house, right? So,
So with that fountain, it's also good, even if it's not even happy hour, if you're going out hunting, just to collect vaults, like even when you need 35 white vaults or whatever, it's nice, especially in a month like this where I end up with like history, art, and Black History Month, all those three topics, and I'm like, like none of those work too well for me, especially if they're off of a white, like anything but a white question. Or white vault. Just going in and being able to choose a topic like wordplay or health and medicine or food and drink or something like that that's easy. I think it's a game changer that way.
Yeah, for sure. And so Bobby Joe's comment that I'm only using the one green key, i.e., in the trade shacks, and thus not every green key should I value at 1,000 or 2,000 cubic coin. True, but we've got
The one that you use.
right. No, but I think what they mean is the fact that if I've got 100 green keys, I can't get rid of them all by using green vaults, right? Now the thing is we've got probably enough that we could, if we wanted to during happy hour, I think we could hit 5 green vaults during happy hour.
Not that we do though.
Not that we usually do. So if I was hitting 5 green vaults during happy hour and hitting happy hour, I'm whipping through a lot of green keys, right? So I could, if I wanted to, I think I could use up a lot of green keys. In fact, last year when we were going for the chromatic cubie, trying to get the chromatic blueprint to drop, we were going out like every day. We were going through and we were hitting, I think it's more sensitive, but at least 5 or 6 green vaults.
Now, also difference now though is we try to only hit, especially during happy hour, the green vaults that we know are level 10s, because you're not going to get a higher payout on the ones that are below level 10, or not as likely anyways. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Bobby Joe disagrees with that, but
Okay.
that's what we found on ours. Plumber Boy, that was the footballs for the
Super Bowl footballs, and for sure. And hey, Bobby Joe, I'm we can agree to disagree. Obviously, that's one of the things about the auction house is people value things differently, right? So if you have the green keys have no value to you and you're happy to convert them, and likewise, if you're in an area where you can't burn through green keys and green user vaults, then they're not worth as much to you, and you can throw them away. You can use them in the auction house, and they get Cubie coin out of them for sure. Where we are, I feel like I could take all my green keys and spend them in green user vaults every day, and be there. So someone says our level 10 green pays out 900 as opposed to level 1s that consistently pay out 1200. What's the level of the Cubie in your greens, right? Because we got level 10 greens with level 10 Cubies in them, and they're paying out about 1,000, 1,200 or so normally, and then during happy hour, they're paying more. So, and as I said, one time you had I remember you got that big pay. It was like 4,000 Cubie coin off that one, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
But there was also that time I hit the the yellow vault during happy hour on the fountain.
Yeah.
And that should have doubled, but they didn't. Happy hour question didn't show up on that. Sent in the bug report. So that should have been a heck of a lot more. Is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
But the green one, yeah, I agree. I did get that one. That was just below 4,000. I want to say 39 something. Anyways, and that was without getting the chromatic Cubie blueprint either. Like, because I always associate that chromatic one drop with significantly higher payout too.
Oh, absolutely.
But I hardly get it. So.
For sure. And then I kind of not relatedly or so, from a valuation point of view, Adventure Road this month. I decided that I wasn't going to do Adventure Road or pay for Adventure Road, because I want to accumulate my Cubie coin in order to get a gym up near us to be able to afford a gym. That's going to take a couple more weeks of converting from my my weekly extract. So I'm passing on it. And I looked at the Adventure Road, and I looked at what I'm giving up, and I was like, I'm okay with what I'm giving up from a resource perspective, right? So now. And
you bought the pineapple times 2.
I was able to buy the pineapple headquarters in the auction house. I'm hoping to start look for the Cubie in the auction house in a few days or so when there's more supply available, I guess. Gold Miner, you actually did get it, right? So you're done now?
Yeah, I got the Adventure Road, and I completed it probably around the 10th of the month. So mine's all done and over with. But that was a lot of hunting through a Chinese New Year event as well, so it went up really quickly. It felt like so yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm working on level 21 or so, which interestingly enough, because I haven't completed. I'm actually halfway through 22. I haven't completed it, so I'm actually more interested in doing the Adventure Road, and it's more. I'm more engaged with it still, because I kind of felt like as soon as we get used to get it, like other months when I've had it, I get it done around the 10th or 12th of the month, and then it was like, okay, well that's it, it's done, and I'm not thinking about it for the rest of the month, right? Of getting the challenges or so. Or we do the challenges, but we're doing the easy ones or whatnot, but we're not going out of our way to get some of the more difficult challenges, right?
You
So
don't need to forge yellow keys
I don't need the 4 Jello keys. There's ones that are like, don't need to
or
do
printed.
printing epics and whatnot. I kind of hate the printing stuff because it's like I don't necessarily want to spend resources on some of these prints. Or likewise the way the cubies are organized. I just don't want more cubies in my inventory to make it difficult to find other stuff. Right? Like the other week, I think I printed a construction cubie, the QB construction, and it's like, geez, just one more construction cubie to clog up finding the rest of mine. So it'd almost be a nice way to find if there's a way to melt them down or dispose of them. And likewise, I can't even sell the QB in the auction house because of that green key cost, right? I'd almost like to be able to bundle them together, a bunch of cubies together, and sell them off.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't mind selling bundles, and I don't know if that would be something great if they could allow you to sell bundles. But would they limit, if they did, would they limit those bundles to like one of the same thing? Like for example, 5 Ophelias, or or could you sell all 3 of the dolls that you have lots of, and then
Well, I
sell
think
them.
like they used to let you do that, right? You could sell 3 of a certain type or 5 of a certain type or whatever happened to be because they didn't have, because like right, but
Right, they did, didn't they?
right, but now each cubie is unique because it can have a different level of experience. It can have a different zodiac, depending on what was printed, was built or whatnot. So it makes it hard to build. So if they would build a system like that where you can bundle them, then I would think that because they're all unique, you don't even have to stick to the same type of cubie. And one of the things that Illusion Weaver commented on in Discord a while ago, we were talking about, was he'd asked for what are like some perks for higher levels in the game, right? Not just extra builds or whatnot. Well, hey, maybe right now, you got to get to a certain level so you can do the buy it now, you can bin. Well, maybe one of the perks could be to be able to bundle cubies for sale, right? Like put a package of cubies together, right? Because maybe you put together a bundle of like 5 common and 2 rare cubies, and that would be appeal to some new players or whatnot, or so.
Oh, I would just be happy getting them to be able to be bundled in my inventory list for my own personal use. Like,
Right.
like I'm sick of going through all these gift boxes and dolls and all that to try to find something and I know there's the search feature, but when you're trying to find that one level 8, you're trying to finish up to level 10 or whatnot. Like, I hate and yes, once again, there's the search feature for that, but
when you're trying to do it one-handed or so, when you're playing the game or something like that, it's not as easy to do the inventory, to do the filtering through that function. Yeah, the filter's there, but it would be nice to get a better inventory sort or some sort of, and even like when you're printing, right? Like, I gotta keep scrolling through all my blueprints in order to find a new blueprint I want in order to print it, right? It'd be nice to be able to just narrow it down, even just like common, rare, epic as a category would eliminate a lot of stuff.
Well, likewise, once you hit your 50s, it seems like looking at those little cubies blueprints in the list to print are hard to see. Like like some of them look quite identical to the others, and it turns into like an old person nightmare.
You're absolutely right, because you put that, it doesn't actually even say the name of the blueprint when you're putting it in. You throw the resources in, and you better hope you know the right resources in case you're printing the wrong one. Ha said unlock a QB gambling casino, right? That'd be funny. So I could just gamble away my cubies.
Or a slot machine with cubies.
Slot machine. I put in
line up all.
Right. I put in all my gift box cubies and have them just lose them all on purpose. Probably what they do is I have to put in Cubie coin and then it would pop a Cubie of some sort if I won the jackpot or so. So, yeah. We had some other ideas that we thought would that could unlock. I don't know if Chad has any ideas on additional perks that would be good things to consider.
There were quite a few, and I'm not sure if that was in Hunter's Hangout or if that was off topic, but there were quite a few great ideas put in from people on that thread. So I don't know. Hopefully he implements some of them, because some of them would make the game a lot easier, and some of them would be nice little perks as you go up in levels as well.
Yeah. Hoth is, indicate gambling for Cubie coin. I think, I'm not sure if they would run into regulatory issues with some gambling rules and stuff like that. Don't know. But
I want to gamble bunk, just given the price of it right now.
Right, for sure. But, it'd almost be nice if there was something you could do from your headquarters, right? So you could somehow interact with the Cubieverse from home. Because, like, right now, we can now print, which is great, new feature from home. We can go in the auction house. How about what?
Memory game.
Memory game
like
practice.
The matching up of the two Cubies.
I like that. I'd love to be able to do that Cubie match game for sure from home. I get back, right?
It would be nice to have a timer on it versus it expiring all the time. Like, just kind of seeing how quickly you can get it without it just, But they'd probably make you throw a key in for that or something.
Well, even if you have to throw a key in it for it, so what?
We'd be out of keys.
But say you're using like a white key or blue key or something like that, not the green key for the real thing, just like practice. I kind of like that, for sure.
So, have you noticed the Epic Blueprint poll is now 50-50?
50-50. I've not looked at that in a bit. We have 10 votes, and it's 5 got it, 5 did not. So, and I bet you that's probably about what it came out as overall. Half the people got it, half they didn't. I don't know. Now, obviously, it depends too on like the more trade chats in your area, the more odds you got it. So, between now and next year, get new players, get them out, get them building trade shacks, right?
But that's easier said than done. You have to find somebody who doesn't mind playing games, who wants to go out walking. Yeah. I recruited a good friend of mine, and after a while, she's like, "Yeah, I just didn't find the appeal to this," so she stopped playing. Hadn't built anything, even if she had.
Would have been gone. Yeah, so you got to make sure, even if you could do that, you got to make sure they log in every now and then just to keep those trade checks up for you. Because that is one of the things that I think we did hear that people were talking about, that structures are disappearing on them. Which was a source of frustration. So, but we can save that till next week's show. Because it's getting up on 9:00 right now. So we'll call a night. It's unfortunate Magic Dragon wasn't able to make it because I know I always like having Magic Dragon here and a conversation with 3 people, not just back and forth with the 2 of us. Third, and Magic Dragon also has often a different opinion or take on things than we do, and so we definitely can be a bit more lively there.
Likewise, you and I discuss things as we're playing the game too, so it's kind of like, my opinions, I know yours. Like, it's nice to bring in different opinions and ideas and things like that, and that adds value to things, to like the podcast or whatever.
Right. Yeah, so likewise, hey, if anybody in chat ever wants to come on as a guest, discuss the game with us, let us know. We can either have Magic Dragon, the three of us here, chat with you on a show, or maybe sometimes we need people to fill in, because it would have been great if we had a list of people we could gone through and kind of asked on short notice. I think we had like an hour or so notice that Magic Dragon wasn't making it, so it wasn't really practical to get somebody in. But and so normally we do, and normally we like to get a third person in here. But if anybody in chat would like to join, talk, come on camera, that'd be cool too. Let us know. We appreciate that. So I think that's all I've got talking about the Cubieverse. Right.
One last thing, the poll has changed from 45% yes to 55% no.
Somebody else did not get it. That's unfortunate.
So, yes.
So, all right. Well,
Sorry.
I'm going to say thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe.
Comment below. Thank you. That's my line. And hey, have fun in the Cubieverse. And hopefully, as as Gold Miner said, there's a coin quest pops up pretty soon.
Happy hunting. See you guys next week.
All right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.